Hello, geometry people. Welcome to another lesson. Today we're going to find angles in a polygon. Now you will find this very similar to the problems where we had to find the angles in a triangle. In a triangle, we know the three angles add up to 180 degrees. So if you know what two of them are, you add them up and you subtract from 180. Now we can do problems just like that for any polygon now because we know what the angles in every polygon adds up to with the formula we have. So for example, let me draw a quadrilateral. And let me say this angle here is 85. This angle here is 155. This angle over here is 95. Let's find this one. Well, we need to know what all four angles add up to. And in case you forgot, we have a formula that the sum is equal to 180 times n minus 2, where n is the number of sides. Quadrilateral has four sides. So the sum is 180 times 4 minus 2, which is 180 times 2. So the sum of a quadrilateral adds up to 360. You can figure that out each time, or you can just after a while, you just, oh yeah, quadrilateral is 360. So we do it just like it's a triangle. We add up the three angles that we know. We add up the 95, the 85, and the 155, and we add them up. 5, 5, and 5 is 15. That's 10, and 8 is 18, and 5 is 23. Carries a 2. We get 335. So what do? We subtract that number from 360, because that's the sum, and we get 25 is the number of degrees in that missing angle. Of course, you can use a calculator, but sometimes numbers like that I just like to add up in my head. And the problems are very similar to a triangle. Remember when we had x's and we knew the three angles of a triangle in terms of x, we added them up and equaled 180. Well, now depending on the size, the number of sides will either add up to equal 180, 360, etc., etc., etc. So let's do one. Let's do another quadrilateral. The four angles of a quadrilateral are x plus 30, 2x minus 50, 3x plus 50, and 4x minus 70. Find x. Well, we know from the problem we just did that in the quadrilateral, the four angles are going to add up to 360. So the problem is just this angle plus that angle plus that angle plus that angle equals 360. So it's x plus 30 plus 2x minus 50 plus 3x plus 50. Oh, I'm running out of room. Plus 4x minus 70 equals 360. Some of you should pay attention to this step because I notice a lot of people are making mistakes combining like terms. Let's do the x's first. 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 10x. That was easy enough. But the number parts, if you're having trouble with the arithmetic, use a calculator. And when you take your calculator, just enter exactly what it says. Do 30 minus 50 plus 50 minus 70, and whatever you get is what you put down. That's combining like terms. 30 minus 50 is negative 20. Negative 20 plus 50 is 30. 30 minus 70 is negative 40 equals 360. And your calculator would say the same thing at minus 40. So let's add 40 now. We get 10x is 400. When we divide by 10, we get x is equal to 40. Okay, so x is 40. Now I'm just curious, let's plug those angles in. If x is 40, what's 40 plus 30? If x is 40, what's 2 times 40 minus 50? 2 times 40 is 80, minus 50 is 30. 3x plus 50. What's 3 times 40 plus 50? 3 times 40 is 120, plus 50 is 170. And last here, let's take 4 times 40 minus 70. 4 times 40 is 160, minus 70 is 90. If you add these up, those four angles, 70 and 30 is 100, and 170 is 270, plus 90 is 360 degrees. That's a check. Okay, let's do one more example. Now you remember with the isosceles triangle, we did problems where you only had to know one angle because the other two were equal. Well, you can do problems very similar to that to other shapes where you have two angles equal. Okay, let's take a look at a pentagon. What's a pentagon? Five-sided figure. Okay, let me draw a five-sided figure here. And let's call this pentagon A, B, C, D, and E. Okay? Let's say A is 100, B is 80, C is 160, and let's say angle D is congruent to angle E. So these two angles here are equal. Okay? Well, we need to know what all five angles add up to in a pentagon. And if we use our formula, or if you remember from the last assignment, either way, 180 times n minus 2. Well, what's 5 minus 2? That's 3, isn't it? 5, because that's the number of sides in a pentagon. So what is 180 times 3? 540. So what do? We add up the 3 that we know. Let's add up 100, 80, and 160. And what do we get when we add them up? We get so the three known angles add up to 340. So how do we find the remaining 2? Well, we take the 540. This is just like the isosceles triangle. We subtract the 340, and that gives us 200. But we know the two angles are equal, so if we do 200 divided by 2, we get 100. That's what angle D and angle E both equal, is 100. So, good luck with your assignments. And Jaden, make sure you watch the video.